It's time to harvest some honey. All right, so in the last clip, you saw me removing the honey supers from the hive. This is a complete hive minus the top cover. You got your bottom board. This is where the bees land and go into the hive. Then you have your two deep hive bodies. This is where a lot of your pollen, some honey, the honey that they're gonna utilize for feeding their young are stored. This is where all the baby bees are made. This is your honey super. You notice how it is not as deep as your two bottom hive bodies. This is where all the honey is stored. So when I'm harvesting my honey, I'm just taking the very top portions of the hive where all the extra honey is stored by the bees. And within it, you have your honey frames. Now this has white plastic foundation underneath of it. You can see this side is not very drawn out. A little more drawn out over here, even more so over here. This is where they store all the honey, and this is what I take and I put into my honey spinner. It's like a big centrifuge to get all the honey out after I break all the caps off of the honey. All right, so here's one of the frames that I've taken from the honey super. As you can see, it is fully capped. There's not a single cell on here that's not capped. That means the bees have determined that the honey has reached the proper level of moisture for storage. So they went ahead and capped it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna uncap it with a fork, like a metal fork. Plastic forks bend. So the key to this is to remove the caps but not destroy the entire cell, because I'm gonna use this frame again, and when I put it back in the hive, I don't want the bees to have to rebuild the cell. That's a lot of wasted time and effort on their part. So if I leave the cells intact, just remove the caps, then the bees can go ahead and start putting the honey back in. So let's go ahead and do it. So now I'll finish this up. We'll do both sides and then we'll put it in the spinner. All right, so as you can see, this is the spinner itself. It holds 9 frames of honey. What you want to do is you want to make sure that there's equal weight on this side and the other side. It's a huge centrifuge. If you don't have it balanced properly, it starts rocking back and forth. It has a lid to keep the honey in, so when it's spinning, it doesn't come out. It sticks to the walls or the lid and then runs to the base. It has a hand crank, and then it also has a little brake. If you squeeze it, it'll stop it from rotating. Let's go ahead and get it started. So here's a look inside. You can see as it's spinning, all the honey is being spun to the walls where it will collect and then run down to the bottom. All right, and then we get to everybody's favorite part, including mine, releasing the honey gate. Now I have it going into a strainer, and there's a coarse strainer and a fine strainer, and this catches any bee parts or wax so that your honey comes out crystal clear. All right, so you just harvested some honey. Now comes the cleanup. Gotta get all that extra sticky honey off of everything, right? No, you don't. Put it outside, let the bees clean it. These are all my supers that I just harvested yesterday. Here's my spinner. I'm gonna let the bees come in and clean up. They're gonna do all the work for me. They're gonna pick up all that extra residual honey. Instead of it being washed down the yard with the hose, it's gonna go back into the hive. Next time I harvest, I'm gonna get that honey.